Da-na-na. Hey, everybody. Hello, and welcome back to CWK Live. I am your host, Dan Zare. Thrilled to be talking Star Wars with each and every one of you every Monday night at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. We are ready to talk Star Wars and share our excitement of this franchise with this amazing community. Let's go ahead and welcome in everybody who is joining me live. First, let's bring in Minta. Of course, Minta, this is the way. It's CWK Day. Welcome, Minta. Minta and her husband are creating some incredible art that she has showcased in the CWK Cafe. That is, of course, our Facebook group. Put an image of that up there for you. But be sure to check it out. The two of them have done an amazing, amazing job. Minta, do your talents ever end? That is so impressive. Most impressive. We've also got Mary who's here. Mary, welcome back to the show. Mary, of course, happy Monday to you. And congratulations to you and LJ and your Cincinnati Bengals on a big playoff win. Anthony is here. Hello. He says, hey, everyone, I have Attack of the Clones on in the background. I'm ready to chat about this episode. Oh, perfect. Liberty is here. Hello there. Missed the last 2 weeks. Good to be back with you guys. Liberty, always great to have you on the show for sure. Ross, hello, my friend. Good to have you. Now, I know, Ross, like you and Mason, are watching the football game tonight. Yes, I know there's a football game. I will try to make sure we get a chance to check that out and enjoy some Star Wars tonight as well. Hey, Daniel, he says, hi, everybody. Sorry I missed last week. Case counts really high on campus on the Housing League. Glad to be here this week. Daniel, you know what? I'm so glad you're here, and I'm glad that you're healthy and safe, my friend. Be careful out there. We're certainly going to talk about that a little bit on the show tonight. Brian, happy Monday to you, buddy. Good to have you on the show. Jamie, welcome back, buddy. Good evening to you. Jason says, hey, everyone. Glad to be here after a week off. I've got my One Nation coffee, and I'm ready to go. Perfect, Jason. That's right. The official coffee of Coffee with Kenobi, One Nation Coffee. If you get a chance to order that, that would be great. You will love it. Jason obviously does as well. And Mason Z, of course, is here too. Hello, Mason. What is up, little buddy? All right, so on tonight's show, we're going to give our top 5 moments from the Book of Boba Fett, The Streets of Mos Espa. I've got a Funko Pop giveaway, and of course, your comments and questions. Let's go ahead and take a look at what is brewing in the world of Star Wars this week. All right, so what is brewing in the world of Star Wars this week, you might ask? Well, I'm glad that you did ask that. So I think the big thing is Daniel's waiting on the decaf version. There is a decaf version of One Nation Coffee, I will say. And I don't drink decaf, but some of my family members do, and they love it. So I think you will not be disappointed, my friend. So let's talk. All right, so I'm wearing my Celebration Chicago sweatshirt from Celebration Chicago in 2019. I think the big topic last week, and I did a poll for this in the CWK Cafe, was how's everyone feeling about Celebration? Celebration is, well, basically it's in May, right? So it's about 4 months away, less than 4 months away, truly. And people are asking me what I think about what is going on. Do I know anything that's going on? Well, first off, I don't know anything that's going on. Lucasfilm certainly has not shared that information with me. I'm not sure what to think, except that, as far as we know, as of today, Monday, January 17th, at 7:04 p.m. Central Standard Time, Celebration is happening. So people are saying to me, "What are you going to go?" I'm going. Look, if Celebration is happening, I'm going to trust that the powers that be have decided that they can make it healthy and safe. And if that's the case, I'm definitely going to be there. Celebration is like the Super Bowl for me. I can't miss the Super Bowl of Star Wars and being able to connect with all of you there. And we've got some really fun stuff that have been in the works for many years now at Celebration that I certainly do not want to miss. But I also understand if it ends up as something where they're not sure, because of course things are in a very uncertain place. As you know, my signing last weekend was postponed, and it's because of things going on with COVID. And people are telling me that they were disappointed. I was disappointed too. But to be honest, look, it had to be postponed to keep everybody healthy and safe. And that's more important to me than anything. Also, eventually I'll get a chance to sign your books. What a wonderful blessing to be in a position where I've gotten to write a Star Wars book, my second Star Wars book, that people want me to sign their book. I feel so blessed and so fortunate for that. So what a great great problem to have, right? This is wonderful. So when it does happen, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. And the same thing with Celebration. As far as we know, it's happening. We haven't heard anything to make us believe otherwise. So great. We'll just keep on planning, keep on thinking about it. We've got that podcast meetup that is going to happen. And if for whatever reason they decide that it's not healthy and safe, and again, this is just based on people asking me and me addressing your questions and concerns, which are very valid. If that happens, then it happens. And we'll just have to move on and look forward to when it actually is time for it to happen. I don't know. I mean, they just announced the D23, the tickets going on sale for that. And that's going to be later in the year. Is that in September? I know Mary, some of you were talking about it in the cafe. Is it in September next year or this year? I think it is. So we've got, we've got things planned. We'll just keep our fingers crossed. All right. So let's see. Dana's going to order some of that decaf, One Nation coffee. Love it. Anthony, I'm hopeful Celebration will happen. I'll be in Anaheim regardless that week with non-refundable hotels. Well, okay. Very good. Daniel will love to go. Sunday sounds and looks so good. Yep, I agree. It's going to be a blast. Excuse me, I have to cough. Oh, boy. Josh says, there's time for the current variant to burn out. I went to SDCC special edition over Thanksgiving weekend, which is when the news of Omicron made news. That said, there was great safety at the show. Star Wars Celebration will also have health and safety regulations to keep everyone safe. Well, Josh is a good proponent of that, and Josh has been to a lot of conventions, and I agree. If it happens, and hopefully it will, I think they'll do stuff to keep us safe. So Mary says it's August. I couldn't remember if it was August or September. I knew it's when we go back to school. So, okay, August it is. There you go. I'm hopeful that by then things will have run their course, but we'll see. We'll see. I take COVID very seriously, for sure. And I just want to make sure everybody's healthy, happy, and safe. That's all that matters, my friends. So we'll keep our fingers crossed that the force is with us. And if it isn't, you know what? Monday night, CWK Live is always going to be here for you. You can count on that and the regular show later this week. All right. Well, I think it's time, isn't it? I think it's time for us to transition over to our top 5. Our top 5 tonight is, of course, looking at the 5th episode in the Book of Boba Fett. Top 5 moments from the Book of Boba Fett episode, The Streets of Mos Espa. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. I know a lot of people, I just want to get this out of the way now. I mean, I'm not going to bring it up per se because it's not, so it's on my list. But this one was really divisive because of the bike gang, right? And their Vespas or their motorcycles or their whatever people want to call them. Look, Star Wars has been full of things like that for a long time. George Lucas loved racing. In fact, that was his first love and his first passion. I mean, to me, this is just like another version of the pod race scene. It's albeit much different. We're not used to it because it was so similar to somewhat real life stuff, I guess, but it didn't really bother me that much. There was so much, and again, if you didn't like it, that's great. I respect that. Was it my favorite thing I've ever seen in Star Wars? Definitely not. But it wasn't enough to taint the episode for me. It was just, we've seen a couple of chase sequences that have kind of been hit and miss, and that's okay. I want to focus on what I loved, and that is my top 5 favorite moments that I know you all have too. For me, my number 5 is Chrysanthemum's release. I love this because more Black Chrysanthemum is great, but seeing he and Boba Fett kind of exchange this sort of nod, and Fett's like, hey, no hard feelings, don't work for those kind of people, and then Chrysanthemum runs off. And I thought that, I don't know, I just liked it. I hope we see Chrysanthemum again. There's kind of this code, this ethical code between bounty hunters, and the fact that he tried to kill Boba Fett and Boba Fett says no hard feelings. I mean, you believe that because they've got this code that they kind of subscribe to that's very unique, which I love. So that was a cool moment. Number 5 for Anthony. I love how Boba says they can put the wounded Gamorrean guard in his back to tank to heal. Shows leadership and builds strength among the team. They can trust the leader to look out for their best interests. I thought that was important because that was, and I talked about this on Coffee with Kenobi this week, the fact that they have that connection, and that's almost like a very personal thing, like his own personal box to tank, and he puts the Gamorrean guard in there to show that they are equals. I thought that was very powerful. You can't buy that kind of loyalty. Number 5 for Ross's mail runes. The highlight to the chase scene was how it ended with this little treat, Hera's favorite from Star Wars Rebels, inundating the mayor's major domo and disputer. I love that too. I love a lot of the Easter eggs in here. I'm going to talk about that later, but the mail runes from Star Wars Rebels were big, and I knew you would like that too, Ross. That's good. Number 5 for Brian, 88's humor, the name that should not be spoken. Yeah, 88's great in this episode, isn't he? I'm looking at his figure right now from the classic Kenner line. He's fun. Number 5 for Liberty, seeing the twins again. I love me some Hutts. Yeah, wonderful to see them back, but they were very interesting in this one. Daniel's number 5, loving the live action Pikes. I know we've seen them before, but this seems really seems to be prominent. I agree, they're clearly going to be very important here. Number 5 for Jason, the concept art at the end of the episode was a great surprise when it debuted, and The Mandalorian I still thoroughly enjoyed. I love the concept art, Jason. I agree, and seeing them in the Topps digital app is great. I just think it's really well done. Number 5 for Mary, Boba's love of animals. The way he treats the banthas and the rancor. Oh, you know what? That's true, isn't it? He does seem to have a lot of respect for animals, which is a good sign of character, by the way. Number 5 for Minta Fennec Shand, telling Boba Fett that he should enjoy the perils of being a crime boss. Interesting. That may come up later, too. Number 5 for Jamie, the appearance of the Pikes at the end, though I don't know until a moment later. It was actually the end, too short of an episode. It was a short one, much shorter than last week's for sure. Mason's number 5 is the new crew. He likes the new biker gang and their droid-centered enhancement, their bionic enhancement, so to speak. He thought they were cool, and I'm glad. It was good to hear that. All right, let's go to number 4. Number 4 for me is the Pelimoto sighting. This ties into the mail runes that Ross brought up, but there's a lot of Easter eggs. But seeing Pelimoto walk across with the pit droids, that was one of those wow moments where Mason and I were like, ooh, look at that, check that out. And that was fun because you kind of get the sense, I think, of where this is in conjunction with The Mandalorian. I could be wrong, but it just kind of felt that way to me. I don't know. We'll see. But I love that so much. Oh, Josh's 5, by the way, was the Pike's anticipatory breach of contract in the flashback, but I know I am a specific audience. Well, hey, I would hope that you would catch that, buddy. I think that's important for sure. So bravo. Number 4 for Ross, the Vespa gang. I'm intrigued by them and want to learn more. Same as Mason's number 5. This season ends up introducing even more crime syndicates. At the very least, this crew may serve as a soft introduction to Bellart Valance, a human bounty hunter composed primarily of cybernetics. Oh, interesting. And since we've seen the crossover with comic book characters, it's very possible, isn't it? Number 4 for Minta is Chrysanthemum being released despite attacking Boba in the Bacta tank. You want to prove a point that he'll rule with respect, not fear. That's right. Good making that connection, Minta, and bringing that back. Number 4 for Brian. Boba's treatment of the watermonger in Chrysanthemum. He navigates both situations with trying to maintain respect. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Good point. Anthony's number 4. I like how 88 was afraid of saying Jabba's name. There's a very Voldemort-esque appeal to the scene with that added detail. I know Mason likes that. 88, voiced by Matt Berry, has been a standout for me, breathing new life into the character. That's fun. Mary, 88's explanation of Mos Espa, that was pretty fun. Number 4 for Jason, seeing Boba Fett drop at the end of the chase. Drop in. I love the jetpack and hope to see him use it more. That was cool. We need more jetpack, of course. Liberty's the same as mine. Number 4, Pit Droids and Pelimoto. Great cameo, definitely. Josh hiring the Vespa gang, which showed Boba's leadership style, definitely. And 4 for Daniel, the mention of the sail barge disaster and how 88 explains that the Mos Espa power struggle afterwards. Yeah, they've definitely added a new segment to the lore as far as how things work and who's working with who, and all the many different branches of this unusual crime family tree that's happening on Tatooine. Number 4 for Mason is when Fett learns the truth. When he shows up in the flashback and he sees what has happened to the Tuskens in the village, that was very powerful. It was a very emotional moment, and that was a standout for Mason and for me too. And speaking of Mason, he says, Anthony say Voldemort, good job. I knew you would like that, buddy. Again, Mason is still on that Harry Potter kick. How many chapters are you into chapter 4 now, Mace? We watched the 3rd movie over the weekend and we had a good time with that for sure. All right, let's go into number 3. Number 3 for me is a Rancor imprint. Like I knew, and I mentioned this before, is when I did some research for the Star Wars book about Rancors and how they're more than just, monsters in the bottom of Jabba's pit, but they actually are much more sentient. And the Rancor's imprint, almost like a baby duck, the first person or thing that they see, they imprint on them. And I just like that notion. I like that it's in live action. And I like that, and by the way, that was there. I didn't create that. I'm not saying that at all, but I just noticed when I did research for the Rancor in the Star Wars book that was a thing. So seeing it in live action and seeing it actualized and the puppetry work and the great acting in that sequence, I really liked that. It was just fun. So the Rancor imprint for me. Mason's on chapter 10 of Harry Potter 4. Great. Couldn't remember, buddy, but I knew you were making your way really well. Mita's number 3, the Vespa Gang. Boba gave them a job since he sees potential in them. And their bikes kind of remind me about the original Power Rangers. I've seen that a lot too. Josh is number 3, Fett's eyes tearing up after burying the dead, pure emotion. Yeah, that was very sad. Very sad. I feel like that's definitely going to come back later. It's got to. Number 3 for Ross, the Stormtrooper helmets being put on the pikes, and then Pelimoto and her 3 pit droids walk past in the background. And fun now, it also helps place where we are relative to the Mandalorian timeline. Exactly. Number 3 for Liberty, Stephen Root, one of my favorite actors, great character, gives an idea of how things work on the streets. Yes, Stephen Root is hilarious, so that was fun to see him. Jason's number 3, Boba Fett releasing Black Chrysanthemum. I liked that his experience of being a captive of the Tusken seems to have fundamentally changed him. Oh, definitely. Between that and the rank and the Sarlacc pit, yeah, he's in a different place. Number 3 for Anthony. It was interesting to me how the street gang modified themselves willingly with cybernetic enhancements at their core that remind me very much of American Graffiti and the biker hot rod gangs that inspired George Lucas. Well, there you go, man. That's right from George. That inspiration. And that's why I think one of the reasons why I didn't have a problem with it. I just think there's some George Lucas stuff there. Number 3 for Mary, the Pelimoto scene, especially the person placing the trooper helmets on the stakes. A connection with the Mandalorian. I went back and watched chapter 5 with that scene today. Oh, cool. That's neat, Mary. I like that. Number 3 for Daniel, the introduction of the Rancor and the Keeper. Will we see him ride it? I think that's what everybody wants for sure. And by the way, it was Star Wars Connect. I mentioned this last week on Coffee with Kenobi when we were looking at this episode really clearly. And I knew there was one where you could control the Rancor and go through Tatooine. It was Star Wars Connect. Someone posted that in the CWK cafe. On the top of my head, I can't remember who. Maybe it was Andrew. I'm not sure. But thank you all the same. Appreciate that. We work together to get the answers, which is the way it should be. Brian's number 3. Boba's absorption of the biker gang into his growing entourage. The gang seems really surprised he would just take them in. Yeah, again, the way he is working his charisma. Who knew that Boba Fett would have such charisma? I think is really cool. Number 3 for Mason. The mischievous Pikes being tricky. How they were scheming and sort of, not sort of, but they seem to be pitting Boba Fett against this other gang that he fights in the second episode and the flashback sequence, and how they're working their magic and making everybody sort of puppets for them. Mason put that as his number 3 for them being mischievous and tricky. All right, let's go into number 2. Number 2 for Jason is Black Chrysanthemum with a vicious fighter. Okay, so I'll give you my number 2 as well because it's just like Jason's, the Chrysanthemum fight. It's also the same as Mason. So me, Mason, and Jason have the same one. The Black Chrysanthemum fight, what a vicious fighter. Look, this was great. And I felt legitimate peril for Fett. The way he was being thrown around, didn't have his armor on. He didn't have a chance to collect his wits. And Chrysanthemum just seemed so brutal and dangerous. And Wookiees are not to be trifled with. And this one's mean and extra strong. So I was really worried. And I just liked the pacing and the excitement, the resolution of it with him ending up in the former Rancor's pit. Brilliant. So I really liked that one a lot. That was so good. Number 2 for me, to Boba Fett's empathy as he buried the Tuskens. He felt they were his family, and he plans to honor them in some shape or form. Yeah, I agree. Number 2 for Josh is Danny Trejo. Yeah, that was fun to see him. Always working with Robert Rodriguez. Ross, Black Chrysanthemum with a vicious roar pulling Boba from the Bacta tank. This was Kevin Scott-esque horror story stars at its best. And the Wookiees' Electro Knuckles were amazing. And then when you see that, and you're like, man, Does Black Chrysanthemum really need Electro Knuckles? That doesn't seem very fair, but it made him even more dangerous. Anthony's number 2. I love seeing Boba get the Rancor as a gift. It is so cool how we get to learn more about this creature throughout the series. Who knew how fascinating they could be? It's such a neat detail that they imprint on the first human they see. Cannot wait to have more time exploring his relationship with Boba. Yep, telling you, there's a lot of fun stuff in that Star Wars book, buddy. I'm pretty sure that's in there. Liberty Timmons. Danny Trejo, another great actor, and of course the Robert Rodriguez connection. Can't wait to see the character development concerning the Rancor. Yeah, and look, I don't think there's anything duplicitous with the Rancor. I think it's a legitimate gift. I think they've legitimately connected and bonded. I mean, yes, being a mythology teacher, I'm very familiar with the story of the Trojan horse and the possibility or probability of that with this Rancor, but I don't think so. I think this is legitimately Boba Fett's buddy. We'll see. We shall see. Jason, don't be sorry. I'm glad. I was about to click it over, so that was perfect. It was a great transition, so I appreciate the assist. Mary's number 2, the twins gifting the Rancor and his trainer. Boba being imprinted on the Rancor. Yep, that was awesome. And Liberty's like, yep, great minds think alike. Well, there you go. 2 for Daniel. Wookiee Carnage. That was such a great scene, and thought Fett was gone with the Wookiee hug. I did too. Again, how are you going to fight Chrysanthemum? And then when the gang shows up to help, she was walking so deliberately and purposefully with comments, but slow. And I'm like, hurry, hurry, he's in trouble. Who knew I would care that much about Boba Fett 10 years ago? Pretty wild. Number 2 for Brian, the Chrysanthemum fight in the palace. It was great to see how really tough it is to fight a Wookiee, and why you usually let the Wookiee win. Exactly. Good reference. Very good reference there. Josh's love with the Rancor is pure. I think it is too. I already mentioned Mason's number 2, the Black Chrysanthemum fight, just like so many of us. Gosh, that we're almost overwhelmingly. But let's go into number 1. What is our number 1 moment from the 3rd episode in the Book of Boba Fett? To me, it is the Rancor reveal. When they say we have a gift for you, and Danny Trejo pulls up in this hover board, whatever it is, and it's got a Rancor on it, you just think, oh my gosh, there is going to be a Rancor back in Jabba's palace. Oh man, I love that. Like, this series has really been sort of like a nice love letter to Return of the Jedi for me. It's made me want to watch Return of the Jedi again. Mace, we need to do that soon. But seeing that we're going to have another Rancor, was just a great thrill for me. I love these Easter egg moments that are happening. Oh, that's not an Easter egg. It's a pretty deliberate part of the plot. But just these nice homages and callbacks to Return of the Jedi and Star Wars and The Mandalorian. They're just so fun. Number 1 for me, this was a tie for me once again. My first pick was the fight with Black Chrysanthemum. You see he has honed his fighting skills as a gladiator, and that he wasn't a Wookiee one to mess with. My second pick was a Rancor imprint. It was immediate. You can see that Boba was very fond of it. Let's not forget the appearance of Dan Trio. Exactly. That was super cool. Number 1 for Ross, same as mine. A new Rancor. Also, by the way, Mason's too. Complete with the coolest handler imaginable and a Witches of Dathomir reference, right? Boba's connection with the creature is consistent with his treatment of the Tuscans, Mastiffs, and Banthas. Yes, it is. He's a softie for animals, which is a good sign of character. Anthony's number 1 is the streetcar chase sequence. Wow, that's so cool. I love seeing all the fun Easter eggs throughout the sequence, but the Ralph McQuarrie Return of the Jedi concept art for Jabba's palace in the actual Star Wars universe was the main icing on the cake. Yep, I didn't say that for my number 4 and the other Easter eggs, but that was tremendous. And I said out loud, oh, that's Ralph McQuarrie's Jabba art. One of his best pieces, too. So that was cool to see it in there as, of course, a tribute, which naturally Jabba would have loved it. It made him look super cool. Number 1 for Josh is the palace fight. Fett held his own in his boxers. And still, after the fight, he has enough time to put on his robe. You got to love that, right? Number 1 for Mary. The Chrysanthemum fight, it was very intense, and the gang coming to Boba's rescue was good. Just keep wondering where Fennec was. Took her a while to get there. That makes me nervous. I'll say. And I mentioned that a lot on the show this week. Liberty is number 1 to get to the Rancor as well. Definitely my favorite thing about the episode. Didn't think we would get to see that after the teaser in the previous episode. It's empty. Well, at the beginning, when they had they almost put that whole sequence for the last time on, or as a recap, and they really emphasized that, almost overly emphasized it. I thought, okay, something's going to happen here. Number 1 for Jason. Boba's emotion at seeing the destruction of the Tusken camp, very moving and very well acted by Tamir Morrison, of course. Tamir Morrison is really a standout. I mean, obviously, but he's really done great here in this whole series. He's the star more than the armor, which is saying a lot to me. Daniel, the cinematography sweeps of the landscapes and the city scenes, Mos Espa at night, and Fett traveling on the Banthas were great examples. Weren't they beautiful looking? Really impressive. Brian's number one, Boba's release of Chrysanthemum. Let's give him as a gift, and Boba gave Chrysanthemum a free pass. It would be great to see Black Chrysanthemum come back and save Boba's life as payback. I hope that happens. I hope we see more of Black Chrysanthemum. He's awesome. He is so cool. All right, and again, Mason's number one was the same as mine and many of your others, having a new Rancor. Just great, great stuff. Well, next week we're going to be looking at the Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 4, Moments. Who knows what surprises we have in store, but we will certainly be breaking it down later this week on Coffee with Kenobi, as well as next Monday night, a week from today, on CWK Live. Mary's honorable mention, telephone booth in the galaxy far, far away. Yeah, I know, right? Isn't that kind of fun? I love that. All right, well, let's go ahead and stroll over into Ask Dan Z, and we've got a little competition. Not a competition, we've got a contest that we're going to have for you pretty soon. Really, it's more of a prize giveaway. We'll chat about that in a few moments. All right, so you may have seen the TikTok I put up. I put on Instagram and Twitter too. But Funko was kind enough to send me the Funko Pop Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade Grogu. Here it is right here in all its glory. Apologize for the reflection there, the glare, but this is it. One of you listening and watching the show right now is going to win this. In fact, this is how we're going to do it. I'm just going to go through and I'm going to assign everybody a number, and I'm going to draw a number out of a hat, and I'm going to award whoever gets it. You're going to win this. I'm going to mail it to you this week. The Grogu's Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Look, whether you're listening to the show live every Monday night at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, or you watch the replay on YouTube or Instagram or here on Facebook, or listen to the audio portion, it all helps. It all makes a difference. It all helps to spread the word about this amazing community that we have here at Coffee with Kenobi. And I'm grateful. So anytime I can give back to you, I'm going to do that. So right now, if you would like to win this Grogu Funko Pop Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade and the really cool Funko Pop box that they sent me, then go ahead and chime in right now. So Ross says he's already got one. I had a feeling. Okay, Ross, I appreciate your honesty, buddy, of course. Anthony, can't wait for Chapter 4. I have a feeling a lot of dominoes are going to be falling into place for sure. Liberty says, I think Chrysanthemum will be back to help Boba Fett fight whoever Tatooine was promised to. I do too. I do too. So again, if ask a question, or if you would like to be eligible to win the Grogu Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, please jump right in. So Mary is in. Anthony is in. Great. That's two people. So right now we've got a 50-50 shot, unless somebody else tries to jump in and say, hey, I would like to win too. Good, and you should. So Brian's in, Minta's in, Jason is in. Daniel says a couple of his friends were stormtroopers in that parade. Okay, that's awesome. That's so cool. Julie, what's up, Julie? Thanks for being here. Julie is in. Minta's in. Jamie is in. Josh is in. Very, very good. You know what? I should probably write all this stuff down. How about I do that with my handy dandy little Coffee with Kenobi notepad right here. So we've got, let's see, we've got Mary, we've got Anthony, we've got, who else is it? We've got Brian, you're number 3, I mean. We've got Minta, we've got Jason, we've got Julie. Minta, I got you in there. We've got Josh. And we've got Daniel. All right. So we've got Mary, you're 1. Anthony is 2. Brian is 3. Minta is 4. Jason is 5. Julie is 6. Josh is 7. And Daniel is 8. All right. Oh, man, I put all my Dungeons and Dragons dice upstairs. I could have used an 8-sided die. You know what? That's okay. All right, I'm going to randomize this thing for you here. Very exciting. So number randomizer. Here we go. From numbers 1 to 8. I'm excited for all of you. So again, Mary is 1, Anthony is 2, Brian is 3, Minta is 4, Jason is 5, Julie is 6, Josh is 7, and Daniel is 8. All right, and I got, did I say, oh, Jamie, you're number 9. Thank you for reminding me. Jamie, you are number 9. I wrote so quickly that I can't read. Isn't that nice? So yes, Jamie, you are number 9. Okay, here we go. Let's do a drum roll here. The winner of the Grogu Macy's Thanksgiving Day Funko Pop is Jamie. Jamie, you are the winner. How about that? Congratulations. Daniel was in there too. Yep, I had everybody. And Jamie, you are the winner. So be sure to send me an email or a DM with your address, and I will be sure to make sure that you will get this Funko Pop. I think you will love it. So thanks, everybody. I'm trying to do more of these. I mean, you're all so wonderful and show up every week, and I want to make sure to reward you, not only with the show and this amazing community we have, but we've got lots of gifts. I got lots of great fun prizes, and we had a bunch of stuff. So you're going to start getting some more swag from me and the Coffee with Kenobi Studio. So congratulations, Jamie. Yes. Of course, now you weren't a late ad. I just had your name on there, and I just couldn't read my handwriting. But that is, that's kind of my thing. I don't have the best handwriting. I can write, but I just can't. My handwriting is bad. Mason's is much better. So yeah, everyone, congratulations. Very kind, very appreciative of all that. So very, very good. Does anybody have any questions as we start to wrap up the show? We've got, let's see, what do we have coming up next week? We've got the Book of Boba Fett. Has anyone gotten a chance to look at The Fallen Star, the latest The High Republic book? Speaking of, I'm teased last week that I had an amazing guest that was going to come on this week. We recorded it today. I'm going to release it tomorrow. It's going to be Claudia Gray. Claudia Gray joined me for her first appearance on Coffee with Kenobi. We had a wonderful, spoiler-free conversation about The Fallen Star. So whether you have read the book or not, be sure to listen to this episode. It's just going to get you excited to read it, honestly. It's not going to give anything away, I promise you. I promise. Anthony says, what are your expectations for D23? I don't know. I hope we'll get lots of cool announcements for Disney Plus and fun Star Wars stuff. It's just so fun. Oh, Liberty, I'm sorry. There will be another option for sure. No worries. Josh says, another lawyer. There you go. Brian says, we've been watching a lot of Infinity War and Endgame. If you could use the power of one of the Infinity Stones, which one would you pick? I think the Time Stone would come in handy, but mostly so I could go back in time and get a bunch of cool toys, Star Wars toys. That's not exactly very noble, but that'll be fun. What about you? Mary says, oh no, don't get me started on The Fallen Star. I finished it last night. Oh, I know. So good. Liberty, thanks for joining us. Thanks to all of you for joining us every week on CWK Live, whether you're here in the CWK Cafe or if you're a member of the CWK Alliance, where you can help contribute to the show and help me out. And also you'll get something back because you get the exclusive podcast CWK Pour Over. This week, Corey, Tom, and I took a deep dive, Coffee with Kenobi style, into Spider-Man No Way Home. It was great fun. So if you want to be a member of the CWK Alliance, get that exclusive podcast, and help out Coffee with Kenobi, be sure to go to coffeewithkenobi.com/CWK Alliance. But we will see you certainly in the cafe, as well as next week on CWK Live. So on behalf of everyone here, thank you all so much for joining me. Have a great week, rest of your week. Minta, may the Force be with you. Anthony, have a great week too. Ross, you have a Force-filled week as well. Right, thanks so much. Have a great, safe week. Thank you, Jason. Stay safe to you. Brian says he chooses a space zone to go to the beach or Batu instantly. Ooh, that's a good idea. Daniel, great to see you. And Josh, take care as well. Remember, everybody, this is a podcast you're looking for. Thanks so much. Mason, I'll see you upstairs watching the football game, buddy. Have a good one. Thanks so much, everybody. Take care.